Lovely. Yeah. Hey everyone, welcome to Healthy Mind, Healthy Life. I'm your host Avik and I am beyond excited for today's episode. So whether you are looking to crush your sales goals or maybe overcome mental barriers or simply create a more balanced and the fulfilling life, then you are going to want to stick around. So today we are joined by someone who has mastered the art of not just selling but thriving both professionally and personally. Chad Wiebe. So welcome to the show, Chad.
Hey, thanks for having me, Vic.
Lovely, lovely. So before we start our conversation, I'd quickly love to introduce you to all of our listeners. Dear listeners, Chad is a sales powerhouse with over $50 million in closed deals across industries like solar, automotive, and high ticket sales. But his success isn't just about the strategy, it's about the mindset. So he is the creator of the self psycho mindset, a game changing approach to thinking bigger, pushing past limits, and achieving the goals that others might think are impossible. So he is also a father, a semi pro football player, and a big believer in balancing high performance with the mental well being. So, if you are ready to rethink how you approach success, get actionable strategies, and maybe even uncover your own self psycho mindset, then let's dive in. Welcome to the show again, Chad.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Lovely, lovely. So, Chad, I mean, it's really great to have you here, and your journey is such an inspiring one. And I did love to start by unpacking your signature concept, the self psycho mindset. So, what does self psycho mindset mean to you, and how did you develop it?
So it's a different way of thinking, right? I think that a lot of people are asleep, are just going through the motions and they go to work or they live their day to day to enjoy those last 2 hours. So the word psycho to me was actually just in a sales meeting one day where someone I was just mentioning it, that we're all psychos. And the way they put it just resonated with me because that word has negative connotations, right? When you hear that, it's you don't think positive things, but really it's just about thinking differently, thinking bigger. Um, if you're not excited about what you're going to do that day and what you're trying to build towards, you're not going to succeed is the quickest way to put it. So it all starts with having a goal. I know lots of people talk about goals, but it has to be a goal that completely fuels you and consumes you. I've trained so many people. I've actually undertaken taking on two 18-year-olds with no life perspectives to see if this works, and this is ongoing. And the big question when you ask someone what their goal is, they'll probably give you an income goal, right? I want to make 100 grand. I want to make $1 million, whatever it is. The question is why, right? What are you going to do with that? So the conversation I actually had yesterday with one of these kids is he wants to travel. Okay, where does he want to travel? Who does he want to do it with? Where are you going to go on that trip? He wants to go to the Mediterranean, etc. I made it very specific for him. It's different. Perspective is everything when we're adults and they're kids. But he needs to see that, believe that when I get him to do things that he doesn't want to do, that idea, that excitement, that belief, um, of what he's going to do here in this coming September, where he's going to take this girlfriend on this awesome trip. If he believes that that's going to happen, and I send him out tomorrow to do something that we're not all high energy all the time, right? I'm higher energy than the average individual. Most people that know me will tell you that. Um, but it's not always the case, right? And I have to figure out what are the bigger reasons that are going to force me to do that. And so when I say bigger, I mean bigger. Like one of my goals, lifetime goals. It's good to have short-term goals, but just to set perspective, is I'd like to buy a castle in my lifetime and live in it. I think that's a real cool and exciting goal. I don't know anyone personally that has done that, and that's a goal to me that excites me. I would love to accomplish it. I don't care how long it takes, but the excitement of doing it is going to drive my actions today, tomorrow, and every day. And that's just one piece because I like to have goals for, there's a variety of different goals. Does that kind of give you an idea of where I'm coming from?
Exactly, exactly. I mean, I have to say, like, it's a powerful story because it's amazing how the mindset shift can unlock a whole new level of the potential, not just in sales, but in life as well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting. Like I even was
Mm.
looking at your website and even on the topic of
Yeah.
say, mental health. I don't know if
Yes.
that's if something you wanted to dive into, but I was reading the article you
Mm.
wrote,
Mm.
and I don't know if we agree on necessarily everything. I do agree it's a problem though, and I was
True.
actually curious to get your thoughts on something if you don't mind.
Something? Sorry.
Well, just so when I think of men's mental health, I'll tell you a little story. So this is a while back, but you
Mm.
go through shifts and you learn different things in life. I used to be like everyone else where I thought, money was
Yeah.
everything. That's all that mattered, and that's what fueled
Mm.
me. So I made decisions and I worked in jobs where, my wife will tell you, we never went on a
Yeah.
honeymoon. I worked for 10 years straight. I missed all the weddings. I missed
Mm.
all the events. I just worked, right? And
Yeah.
and that, taught a valuable lesson because what
Mm.
am I doing it for? Right. And I did become, I wouldn't say again, I'm a higher energy
Mm.
individual, but I was the closest I would say I'd become to being depressed. And so shifting to something, and it's all psychology because the problem is I had a
Mm.
boss said you had to do this at this time, you had to be there for this hours, and he had no
Yeah.
control over it, right? And what's funny is just shifting the mindset, switching careers
Mm.
where I'm in control and I
Correct.
choose my hours. Quite honestly, most days, in quote unquote, I'm working 12 to 15
Mm.
hours, but I don't feel that way. Because I'm choosing my
Exactly.
schedule, I get to do what I'm doing, I'm in control of it. And so you just have to find uh, well, and that's where I wanted your opinion because
Mm.
I have my opinions on men's mental health and the sales cycle mindset. I was really
Mm.
curious, and you don't necessarily have to agree, but I was actually curious of your opinion of it because do you think that puts too much pressure, in your opinion, on an individual?
Uh, so if you ask me, for me, it again depends person to person and how they are thinking. If I talk about myself, then uh, for me also at a time like you mentioned, like also started with your job or something alongside you are doing. For me as well, same thing. Like I'm also doing it, and what I believe, like if I can do 10 things at a time, uh, that I can do. Not, I mean, I cannot compare with someone, but yes, I can do it. That is the reason, and I'm enjoying. That is the reason I'm doing it. If I do not enjoy, then I definitely not. So that is the thing you can say. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the reason I asked, and sorry, I had to take it that way, I
Mm.
was just reading that
Mm.
last night was I believe the sales cycle mindset can, or not
Mm.
even really it's sales, that's how I
Mm.
apply it, but you can apply it to any part of your life, is
Yeah.
people don't wake up in the morning
Mm.
excited for what they have to do, right? And I
Exactly.
think that's the biggest problem with the mental health aspect, is it's not necessarily, I do think it's a part of what a lot of your article
Mm.
mentioned with the pressures or whatever,
Mm.
but it's
True.
more so, in my opinion, doing something you enjoy every day,
Exactly. That
right?
that is
Like
what
it's
I'm
not,
saying. Yeah.
that's
That is what
that's
I'm saying. Yeah.
I think that's the key, right? It's yes, I
Exactly.
have an enormous amount of pressure every day, and it's
Very, very true. Very true. So if I, like I mentioned, like
yeah.
I'm also doing along with my job. So I mean, I'm not saying that everywhere everything I'm doing it, but I'm also putting a lot of extra hours after my evening and then to night as well. But that thing is not help. I mean, that thing is not making it annoying or making me feel, oh, I have to do this like this, because I'm enjoying that. That is the reason I'm putting 100 500% of efforts. So that definitely works. Yeah.
No, perfect. Yeah, I was just curious in your opinion. Like I said,
Mm.
appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Lovely. So, and also, like, you talk a lot about pushing past self-imposed limits and breaking through the mental barriers. So, that's something I think like everyone can relate to, whether they are in sales or not. So, on this, like, what are some of the common mental barriers you have seen people struggle with, and how they can overcome those, if you can share?
I think the most common one, I know I mentioned it before,
Mhm.
is money, income levels. And it's all just the lives we live, right? Some people are happy with minimum wage, 20, 30, $100 an hour. It's all perspective. But when someone sets that income cap for themselves, you have to open your mind, right? You only know what you know. So I think the biggest thing, every individual is different, right? So I had a conversation a couple days ago with a client, and he's never pushed past. He makes a good living. He's happy where he's at. Doesn't necessarily enjoy his day to day, but his he believes it's about six figures is where he's locked in at, and he's a commissioned salesperson. So he does have control over what he can make, but he's been doing it for 5 years, and 80, 110, he kind of always sits in that limit, and he's comfortable. So it's easy to stay there and stay flat and whatever. So what you need to, it's kind of like I said earlier, it starts with first the goal and visualizing it and what actions is it going to take to get there. So one thing, and him and I just sorted out his day is okay, so what makes you the most money? Okay, it's doing this. Where are you losing most of your time? So he knows what goal he needs to get to. He knows where his money making activity is. And when we looked at the breakdown of his day, and that's like, let's be honest, I probably didn't even include the hour minimum of social media scrolling that no one wants to admit, is we're going through his day and we noticed there's a lot of tasks that he didn't need to be doing. Right. So when you look at the goal, okay, I'm making 100. Let's make 300. What do we need to do to make that possible? Okay, well, I have 3 to 4 hours a day where I'm doing stuff what technically doesn't help me increase my income. So what we did is I encouraged him is to hire an assistant, and that's what he's going to do, right? And that's just so step one, see the goal, 300K is in this example. Look at your current map of how could you physically possibly get there, right? And sometimes it's not so clear. You got to take some time. It's good to get outside advice. Map it out. Find what you would need to do. So in this example, he can't do it in the 3 to 5 hours that he has. He theoretically could, but he'd have to get pretty lucky. But if he frees up, 3 to 4 hours a day, invests in himself, and gives him the ability to dedicate more time to money making activities, that puts him on the trajectory where it's actually possible.
Great, yeah, and so I have, I mean, it's really relatable that I think a lot of us underestimate like just how much our own mindset can um, either propel us forward or maybe hold us back as well. So yeah, so that's very true, and also like y- you have got so much on your plate, like we were discussing, like, right, the sales, football, family life, and everything, and yet you seem to balance it all as well. So what are the top, I mean, what are your top strategies for staying productive and managing your time effectively?
It's one
Anything you
of
want to
my
share?
favorite topics because it's kind of
Uh-huh.
shocking, I think, for most people.
Yeah.
Um, I'm going to go with money and then I'm going to relate that to time. Okay. I've had years early on where, like I said, I worked all the time and I made great income. When I budget that money, and most people have budgeted money, maybe not their time, and that's why I want to start with money. You budget your money, your monthly income. When you budget it, I guarantee you the money goes farther. If you don't pay attention, you look at your wallet, you look at your bank account later on, and that untracked money, where did it go? I don't care who you are. I would bet my house that if you don't track your money, you're close to zero every month. So it's very good. So why do people budget their money but not their time? Right? And so when I say this, I'm not saying budgeting, but there's a lot of exercises. So the first one is I referenced it before. We'll open up your phone. Okay, I'm going to take a step back. Let's just say someone you talk to them. I don't. Everyone says it. I don't have time to exercise. I'm so busy. I'm so busy. Everybody is so busy. But if that person's honest and sits down, first things first, show me your phone. How much did you spend on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, right? I I'm almost positive it's an hour minimum, right? Of time that was spent on something. Sure, it gave us the dopamine or whatever, but it doesn't help you accomplish whatever those goals are we referenced before. So the first thing is to budget your time. Where is it going? Right? How many Netflix series are you watching? Right? There's time that we don't want to admit we're wasting. And so I can point this out and I can help someone do this exercise. And that's why it always comes goals first. Because if you don't have a reason, well, why are you not going to spend 7 to 8 watching a Netflix show? Why are you not going to wake up in the morning and scroll social media for an hour and a half? What is what's the bigger thing that's going to make you want to take accountability for your time? Because in theory, if I say it out loud, I'm still actively selling. I'm training multiple salespeople. I manage and play on a football team, meaning I have to go to the gym and be active. And there's countless other things that I've joined. I joined a BNI group and et cetera. And when you just say it out loud, it's like, holy, where does the time come from? What comes from me knowing what my goals are and knowing that, hey, if I spend an hour and a half on TikTok or if I spend an hour in the gym, what am I getting at the end result? And again, it all comes with goals and then filtering backwards. But yeah, really just budgeting, quote unquote, your time is a huge, massive exercise.
Very true. Yeah. And like if I have to say if you could leave our listeners with one key takeaways about the success mindset or maybe the personal growth, what that would be.
That is a tough one. One key takeaway,
Mm-hmm.
take an honest look. Are you living your life right now for the last 10, 20 years when you quote unquote retire?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you enjoying where you are now, right? Because if you're not, I really think you need to take all the time you need to realize that you're missing out on something. There's a song I even showed my sons, like, my life is a vacation. Now, you need to find what that passion is, and even if it's less money, right? I enjoy sales, so that's convenient for me that I can make an income with my passion. But even if your passion is less money, 100%, 100%, you will not regret it. Find something that you enjoy what you do every day, and retirement doesn't matter. It's going to change your whole life, and that would be the most actionable thing I could encourage your listeners to do.
So that's amazing and empowering message. So thank you so much for sharing this and sharing so openly with us today. Uh, so thank you, Chad. And for the listeners, I hope that today's conversation has left you feeling inspired and ready to take on the world. And uh, because Chad has shown us that success isn't just about the talent or maybe the technique, it's all about the mindset, persistence, and the willingness to break through the barriers. So, if you want to learn more about Chad and his health psycho mindset, be sure to connect with him online or explore the resources he offers. So, thank you so much for joining us on Healthy Mind and Healthy Life. And if you have enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who might need a little extra motivation today. So, remember that your mindset is the greatest tool for success. So, uh, take care of it, nurture it, and watch your life transform. So, until next time, this is your host Avik signing off. Thank you so much.